G'day brewers, Hendo here from the Rockstar Brewer Academy. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up release checkpoints in Beer 30 so that you can make sure that only certain people allow the release of product from one stage of production to the next. For example, it might be released to packaging or marking a beer as ready to pack. Let's take a look. So here I am in the Beer 30 dashboard. Now, where you go and set up your release checkpoints is you click your name and you go to Tools. And as you can see, you've got this section here that says Quality Control Release Checkpoints. Now, how this works is there are three places in the beer production process where you can set in quality control release checkpoints, okay? So the first place is brew finish. So after all of your turns are finished and you want to close out a batch and turn that into ferment mode, that's the first one. Setting a beer as filter ready, so at the end of fermentation, before you go and move a beer from fermentation tank to a bright beer tank. For example, you might have a VDK test in and the head brewer wants to make sure that that's been done. And also in bright beer tank ready to package, okay? Now, you'll see that there are two allowable levels that are allowed to authorize the release of beer at these certain checkpoints. You've got the manager level and you've got the head brewer level. Now, my account is not a head brewer level. So what I'm going to do is I'll quickly flick back over to the BBT module and you'll see that I've got a batch of beer in the tank called Hendo's Wild Beer. And what I can do here is I can say, yes, it's ready to package. And so you can get the final ABV and carb and then enter the BBT data, and then that marks that beer as ready to package so that you can see that in the start packaging module here, right? So as you can see, only this South African Lion Ale is currently marked as ready to pack. Okay, so anyone could go and mark that beer as ready to pack, and that's kind of not how you do it, especially in larger breweries. So let's go back into Tools, Manage Quality Control Release Checkpoints, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the BBT ready to package for head brewer only. So remember, I don't have that privilege. I'm only a manager. And what I'm also going to do while I'm here is I'm going to make some of the fields required. So CO2, carb, and color. All of those fields are now going to become required. I don't need to click OK on anything. It's all ready to go and it's done. So if I go back to the BBT module and I select my Hendo's Wild Beer, you can see that I can now no longer click the yes. It says, cannot proceed with BBT ready to package due to quality control release checks. Contact the head brewer to continue, right? So I can't make this beer go ready to pack, okay? Now, let's change that now so that my privilege level is allowed to. So if I just change that to me, right? So that manager and or head brewer can go and mark stuff as ready to pack. So let's go back and I'll go to BBT and I'll go Hendo's Wild Beer. Now, as you can see, I can now click yes, all right? And now what's actually happening is you can see the orange bar next to the fields. So those final beer specification fields, ABV, carb, IBU, and color are now mandatory. Okay, and I can mark this beer as ready to pack. Okay, I can click enter BBT data. Oops, and you can see it's making me fill out that number. So let's put in some numbers here, 5.2%, and the final carb is 2.62 volumes. The bitterness is 8 IBUs, and the color is 5 SRM. And as you can see, it's making the colors change automatically depending upon whether they're in spec or a warning. So that's out of spec, that's in spec, that is a warning saying I'm near to being out of spec. I'll click enter BBT data and now that beer is ready to pack. So if I go to the package module, click start packaging, you can see now that Hendo's Wild Beer is now set as ready to pack. But I couldn't get to that point unless somebody actually went and authorized it. And in which case that was me. So as you can see, setting up those critical checkpoints in your brewery where you want a manager to authorize the progression of a batch from one step to the next is very, very easy to set up in Beer 30. If you want to know more about how Beer 30 can help you brew more and brew better beer, leave a comment below and one of the Beer 30 crew will reach out to you and arrange a demo. Thanks heaps for watching this Tech Tip Tuesday. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.